Last year around Halloween, I had an experience that has haunted me to my very core. It was a crisp fall day, the type where the trees adorn themselves in golden hues, and the scent of pumpkin spice wafts gently through the air. My husband, Jake, our 3-year-old daughter Mia, and I were making our way into the city for a day out. We had plans to visit some friends, partake in a community Halloween festival, and perhaps even select a pumpkin or two from a downtown patch. The atmosphere in the car was light. We sang along to children's songs playing on the radio, laughed at the silliness of the moment, and chatted about the fun-filled day ahead. As we approached the city's skyline, the silhouette of its tall skyscrapers piercing the sky became more evident. Mia, from her booster seat in the back, pointed at the buildings with a sense of wonder. "Look, Mommy, Daddy, big buildings." I smiled at her enthusiasm and said, "Yes, sweetie, those are very tall buildings. People live and work in them." She paused for a moment, and then, in a voice more serious than I'd ever heard her use, said, "Mommy, I used to live in a tall building like that. I had a lot of nice stuff, but it was burned up. I was alone there. I didn't have a family, and now I have a family." Jake and I exchanged a quick, puzzled glance. It was one of those moments where you try to rationalize what you've just heard, especially considering the age and innocence of the source. Kids say the darndest things, right? Maybe she saw something on TV or overheard a conversation. Still, curiosity got the best of me. "Honey, what do you mean you used to live there? You've always lived with us." Mia looked out of the window, her gaze fixed on the skyscrapers. Before I was Mia." Jake tried to lighten the mood. "Oh, so you were a city girl in your past life? Maybe a movie star?" But Mia didn't laugh. "No, Daddy, it was a long time ago. The fire was big and loud. I couldn't find anyone. Then everything went dark, and then I was with you." The temperature inside the car seemed to drop several degrees. The joyful atmosphere was replaced with a weighty silence. Throughout our day in the city, I couldn't shake off Mia's words. Everywhere we went, whether it was the festival or our friend's house, my mind kept replaying her unsettling revelation. The idea that my 3-year-old, my baby, was recounting a past life was both fascinating and deeply troubling. That evening, after we returned home and Mia was tucked into bed, Jake and I sat down in our living room, cups of tea in our hands, and tried to process what had occurred earlier. "Do you think she was just making it up?" Jake asked, his voice filled with hope. "I don't know," I responded, taking a sip of my tea. "She's 3, Jake. She's just started stringing sentences together, let alone inventing detailed stories about past lives." We decided to look into it. As crazy as it sounded, I couldn't ignore the gut feeling that Mia was speaking a truth only she knew. Determined to find answers, I delved into the city's historical archives. Hours turned into days, days into weeks. And then, just days before Halloween, I stumbled upon an old newspaper article dated from the early 1960s. The headline sent chills down my spine. "Great City Fire Engulfs Skyscraper, Many Lost, Including Lonely Heiress." The article described a terrible fire that had consumed a luxury apartment building. The photo accompanying the article showed the remains of what was once a majestic skyscraper. And there, in the list of the deceased, was the name of a young woman, Amelia, who was known to live alone, having lost her family in another tragic event years prior. The article detailed her wealth and the many treasures she possessed, all of which were destroyed in the blaze. Amelia, Mia. I showed the article to Jake, and we sat there in silence, trying to wrap our heads around the unimaginable. Could our Mia be the reincarnation of Amelia? Halloween night came, and with it, a mix of excitement and unease. Mia was dressed as a little witch, her laughter infectious as she went from door to door collecting treats. As we approached our house, Mia suddenly stopped and looked up at our home, her eyes reflecting the glow of the jack-o'-lanterns on our porch. "Mommy, Our home is so warm and safe. I'm happy now. Hugging her tight, I whispered, I'm glad you're with us, Mia. That night, as I lay in bed, the weight of everything we'd discovered pressed on me. Our daughter, in some inexplicable way, had lived before, and through fate or destiny, she was now with us, finding the family and warmth she'd once lost. It was a Halloween revelation that left us terrified, not by ghosts or goblins, but by the profound mysteries of life and death, and by the idea that sometimes love and family transcend time itself.